afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the Turn the Tassel show. My name is Stephen Ampersand. I am your host, and as always, we're here to help you and the people you love get to and through college, university, the trade schools earlier on time with minimum to no debt. So, welcome back to the show. We're on the road, as you can see, which is why we are entitled The Road Scholar. Right on. So, we're on the road, and we're headed down to the ATL doing a little business and figured while we're doing that, it's always good to get on and have a discussion with my fellow tassel turners. So, welcome. So, what are we talking about today? We've done a lot of discussion lately about student loan debt, and we know that the Biden administration has recently extended the non interest and non payment pause that was placed as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, we've talked about that, acknowledged, and we've given you some tips and some ideas about that. But I think it's appropriate to come back and make sure we tie a bow around this subject and this issue. I'm working on two books right now. The first book has to do with how to get to and through college, university, the trade schools earlier on time with minimum to no debt. So, just be looking out for that. The book will be entitled Turn the Tassel. So be ready for that. I'm also working on a second book, and that book is entitled Higher Ed. Just like it sounds, higher, Hire, ed, as in education. And really what we're going to be talking about there is how to target yourself back into a tried and true way to be upwardly mobile in this country. That is through the trades. Okay, we've talked a lot about how the trades have come back into vogue, if you will, because people are starting to get the hint. People are starting to realize that it is not a good investment for most people to go to the traditional 4-year college university track. It's not a good investment. The ROI, return on investment, is so upside down right now that people are literally going into debt for a credential that will never get them out of it. And so higher ed is going to speak to that reality and also talk about how one can quickly move through an apprenticeship situation, whether it be HVAC, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, you name it, and how you can quickly parlay that into your own business and frankly put yourself into the category of a 6+ figure earner relatively quickly without all the debt. So be looking forward to that. But as we talk about the student loan crisis that we're in right now and the 1.73 trillion, I'm sure it's probably 1.74 at least by now, trillion dollars of loan, we have to really, I think, take a hard look at who owns the debt as far as who gave it to us and who is under the thumb of it, who's carrying the load, who's carrying the debt. Well, as we've talked about several times before, about 60% of college students are about 60%. Okay, so I know that population, the 60% we're talking about, right? We know that 67% of the 1.73 or $4 trillion is owned by women. So that translates into being about $1 billion of the 1.73 trillion belongs to women. Okay, so we live in a society today that is striving to empower women, striving to let women know and understand that they can be their own individuals and provide for themselves and have the big job, have the family if they want it, They can have it all, right? And I'm here to tell you, if you've bought into that lie, and it's exactly what it is, it's a lie, understand that you're being played. You're being played, ladies. And you should feel some type of way about that. They're playing you. Why? Because you can't be your own anything if you are owned by the government. And that's who owns these loans. The Department of Education went to direct lending, okay? Which means the government is lending you taxpayer dollars to fund these degrees that go nowhere, okay? And you can't charge it off in bankruptcy. You can't, I mean, if you become permanently disabled, you can have it discharged, but then you're going to get a 1099-G and the IRS is going to come after you, right? So now what do you do? Well, now you got to file a Chapter 13 bankruptcy to get on a reasonable payment schedule with your IRS debt so they don't lock you up, right? Meanwhile, you're chained to a job. Pick a job, any job. Usually a job not in the major of study that you took in college, right? Because we know from watching the program that 3 out of 5 people are not employed in the field that they studied. And if I have my soundboard, I go, wah, 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 wah. Because that's a big L. You hold a big L on that, okay? So now you're chained to a job that you can't not have because you got to make those payments month after month for 120 months and hope that after you make your minimum income-based repayment that never touches even the interest that's accruing on these things, that somebody will swoop in later and forgive the debt. Don't hold your breath, okay? Don't hold your breath. You're going to owe that money until you pay it. And you're going to owe it until you pay it or until you die. Or until someone comes along and wipes you up, or otherwise civil partners with you and agrees to help you with that. But guess what? With so many people now in this debt, everyone's bringing it to the table. So how am I going to pay off your debt if I'm trying to pay off my own too? It's a trap. It's a trap, okay? You're going to carry that until you die. And it's going to be a shackle around you. You're not going to be willing to take risks, start your own business. Why? Because you need to make sure you got that steady, regular income coming in with which you may make your minimum payments for a graduated 20-year schedule or a 10-year income-based repayment schedule, blah, 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 blah. It's a trap. So why? Why are we doing this? Well, because everyone says it's what you're supposed to do. And as people, we tend to be sheeple. We tend to let others herd us into bad situations and then cry about it and want a bailout when we willingly allowed ourselves to be walked into the slaughterhouse, right? We see the other side of it before we get in there. We see sheep ahead of us going into the slaughterhouse. We see them coming out of the other side as racks of lamb and lamb chops and mutton. We see it, right? But we think, oh, it won't happen to me. I'm going to get in there and I'm going to be evasive and I'm going to get out. Well, why would you go in the first place? You ain't going to evade. No, you're going to go in there and get slaughtered just like the rest of the sheep. The only way to win this game is not to play it at all, people. Stop playing this game. This is why we're here with Turn the Tassel Consulting Group. This is why we're here. Because, see, we're going to tell you the truth, whether it's convenient or something you want to hear or not. We're going to tell you the truth because, in the end, we want you to succeed. We don't want you to look back in 10 years, 20 years and say, man, I really wish I hadn't gone ahead and gotten that criminal justice degree when I never intended to go into law enforcement. Man, I really wish I never went and got that social work degree for $150,000 so I could turn around and make $28,000 a year. Man, I really wish I hadn't taken the underwater basket weaving class and major because I wanted to explore myself. And now I'm in $250,000 student loan debt, but I got a master's degree in letters. Like, what is that? Don't do it to yourself. And yes, whether you like it or not, ladies, I'm talking to you. If you think that eligible bachelors out here are not going to look at your student loan indebtedness and make an up or down decision around whether or not they're going to deal with you based on how much debt you have, you are sadly mistaken. Trust me when I tell you. See, I'm in the barbershops. As you can see, I got a nice fresh cut, right? I'm in the barbershops. I frequent the places where men congregate. I'm at the pool hall, okay? I talk to men. And I'm here to tell you, ladies, if no one else will, men are not trying to come in, swoop in, and rescue you. They're not trying to come in and rescue you from your student loan debt, especially when most of the attitude, sweeping generalization alert, most of the attitude is, I'm strong and independent, I don't need no man. Really? Then why are you trying to come over here and get me to help you pay your student loan debt? Wah, 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 right? You see, this whole narrative of strong, independent, don't need no man, all that nonsense, and that's right, I said it, all that nonsense, that all makes real good sense to you until COVID-19 pandemic hits. And now you out there trying to fight your way into the supermarket to get the last roll of toilet paper, competing against able-bodied men, right? Or the housing bubble pops and you on the street. Now all of a sudden you need that man, right? Who's got a place for you to lay your head. See, I can say this stuff because these things don't exist for men. You know, it's like 9-1 homeless shelters for men, women rather, 9 to women and 1 for men. And the ones for men, they got to get out every morning and stay out all day. Okay? Ain't nobody coming to rescue the guys. See, we know this, right? No one's coming to bail us out. Okay? We're expected to be strong and independent. And we should be. And many of us are. Many are not as well. Sweeping generalization. But the point is, so many of us, we want to have it both ways. We want to be strong and independent, and we want to be taken care of. How's that work? That's a paradox. You can't be strong and independent and taken care of. That is counterintuitive. You are either strong and independent, don't need no man, don't need no this or that and the fifth, or you do. Right? What many of us are is rebellious. Let's just call it what it is. Most of us are in rebellion. We don't want to go with what we know and has demonstrated to work for hundreds of years. A interdependency, not an independency, and for goodness sakes, not a codependency. Interdependency. And I know y'all over there like, Stephen, you're off on a tangent. Yeah, but I'm gonna bring it full circle. Because like lemmings, because of the lack of leadership in our homes and increasing numbers of single parent led households, most of which are led by women, sweeping generalization, women are being duped into enrolling and attending these schools. And they're being told, hey, get this degree, borrow whatever you need to borrow, because once you have the education, they can never take that from you. So, they can't take your education once you got it. Yeah, that's true. But A, how much are you really learning? And B, they can take everything else. They can take your car. They can take your paycheck by way of garnishment. They can take your house. They can take your freedom and put you in jail through that IRS process once they forgive you after a decade, if you can reach that point, right? So that's nonsense. But we've been sold that bill of goods. So people have gone and run after that. And then you get out, and now you're in a underperforming career, most of it jobs, let's be honest, and you're not able to meet your obligations. And now you're looking for a spouse, and you're looking for the family, and you bring in all this debt baggage that you'll never pay off. And you're saying, take me as I am and all this. And the fellows are like, eh. And again, this is a sweeping generalization. I told you, we on the red pill now. We're taking the red pill. Gloves are off. I'm telling it like it is. Because I love women. And I don't like seeing women that I love being taken advantage of, being used, being pimped by a system designed to entrap you. Because that's all it is. You're a hamster in a wheel. Run, 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 run. Running yourself ragged, tired. I can't tell you how many women I talked to this week, that said, hey, how you doing? I'm tired. I'm like, golly, all y'all tired? Well, yeah, they're tired because they're not making any real progress. They're being told that they're free, and you don't need this, and you don't need that. You don't need a man. You don't need blah, 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 blah. You can do it, girl. Take these loans. Get this degree. And when you get this degree, then, a good quality man is going to see that you're educated. He's going to want you. Nonsense. 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 That's a bill of goods. Men have pursued women for eons before women were getting college degrees. So getting a college degree now ain't all of a sudden going to make your market value skyrocket. In fact, it's going to cause it to plummet, because men are looking at this and they're saying, wait a minute, you spent 6 years getting a master's, 8 years getting a doctorate degree. You've got $250,000 of student loan debt. You want children, but now you're further along in age because you delayed that so that you could go to college and get your degree. You want me to pay for all that, and then childcare, because you're not going to be home with the kids because you got these degrees you're going to be using. Guys are simple. Guys are simple. We don't want all that. I'm just trying to tell you. So, if you want to set yourself up for success, ladies, you need to get in with T3CG. Because should you not get a degree? Nope, not saying that. Saying you shouldn't go into $250,000 of student loan debt to get a degree. That's what I'm saying. Okay? And there are ways to do it so that you can come out of college and be an asset to your spouse and your family, not a liability. I'm Stephen Ampersand, and this is the Turner Tassel Show.